Okay. All right, here we go again. One-click voice chat. Trying to interview the people in the description. If you're in the description, interview time. So until then, I'm going to play an audiobook here. It's called Knockout Game, A Lie? Aw, Hell No, by Colin Flattery. And we're going to listen to somebody who is actually a prison psychologist, and he's going to explain why black people behave the way they do. But Nerve Gorilla must be wrong, right?
Michigan prison psychologist Marlon Newburn. We've met Newburn already in this book. Newburn spent 30 years in the criminal justice system learning about motives and racial violence and hatred up close and personal. He has seen a lot of this. The violence is about hate and the hate is about race. Let's give Newburn a listen. Quote, "To people who practice this type of racial violence, all blacks are the enemy since they were weaned on the idea that whites, Asian, Hispanics, Martians were keeping my people down. They may be functionally illiterate, and I have yet to meet one that wasn't, but their older family members or people that..."
Did you hear that? Prison psychologist has yet to find a black person who is not functionally illiterate, which is the same thing I'm fucking seeing right here on the internet. They can't seem to figure out how to get in voice chat, even though the internet's almost always had voice chat built into it. All sorts of ways to communicate, and the cell phone tards don't know how to do it. But it's pretty scary because he goes on.
In their neighborhood, along with the popular culture, drove that early message into their skulls. More new.
Yeah. It drove it into the skulls. It's in their shit culture. That's what I mean by shit culture. It's embedded in their shit culture to be a victim.
Burned. They believe they have some black toxic tribal license to attack. And the more brutal, the more down with the struggle they are. The degree of viciousness also demonstrates just how manly or womanly they are. In other words, the more sadistic, the higher the social and personal power status. It's also great street cred for them, the sacred status for assaulting the all-pervasive and imaginary white power structure. And in regard to Asians and Hispanics, these people are just taking jobs from them. The people who practice this kind of racial violence, like the Knockout Game, have imaginary social injustice tags as legitimate reasons to assault all non-black people. To say the black assault on non-blacks isn't racist is a blatant lie. Black predators are racist to the bone, and most live that part in prison. Unquote. Whoa. A lot of truth-telling in one place there, Professor Newburn. Get back to the story here. As late...
Here's an audio clip of them laughing about it. The same thing I said in my video. They think it's funny to assault people.
Teens did it. The news crew dutifully reported. Police now say 2 suspects have been arrested and investigators are looking for a third.
It is a malicious, twisted half minute. For more than 30 seconds, 2 school-age students punch, chase, knee, slam, and beat another student as the third teen records it, all while cackling and chanting and screaming. To add insult, the video was posted Tuesday night on a public Facebook page.
They also say this stuff
Sick fuckers. Sick fuckers.
definitely appears to be part of the so-called Knockout Game. Police say the boy suffered only minor injuries. That is part of the problem, says Talib Starks, author of The Uncivil War. If you look at the news accounts of these kind of crimes, the police and press tell us this was not a major crime, said Starks. Quote, "There was not much money involved. The victim lived. One of the reasons these crimes happen so much is that we take them so lightly. This kind of violent crime is life-changing and traumatic to the victim. But we rarely treat the predators that way. They lose a little money, and no one gets hurt. It's no harm, no foul. That has to change," unquote. In the meantime, in Philadelphia, another video surfaced of another Knockout Game, another featuring a black assailant. and a white victim, also unreported.
Good morning, I'm Erica Von Teal. One of 4 suspects in a vicious attack on a homeless man has surrendered to Upper Darby Police. Police Superintendent Michael Chitwood identifies the suspect here as Tret Epps. This video posted on social media shows one of those teens punching the man in the face.
These are just a few of the dozens of cases of the knockout game and black-on-white violence in Philadelphia in 2013 and 2014. Quote, for someone to walk down the street and do this is not something new, said a police spokesman to ABC. From their demeanor and their overall actions, this is something that you can just about bet they have been involved in before, unquote.
Yeah, it's fun for them. You see? It's sick, dude. Let's see. Listen to some of the quotes from the violent black people who assault random white people and random Asian people. By the way, I have lots of video. I'd play it, but I don't want to get banned from YouTube. If you want, I could post it on my websites. It's really disgusting to watch. So I'm only giving part of the story. What I'd rather have is a black person to get in voice chat with me and answer questions as to why their culture behaves this way. That's what I want, but they won't do it. So let's keep destroying their shit culture with this book called Knockout Game a Lie? Oh, hell no. Here's a quote from one of the criminals.
Uses for the violence. Told the New York Daily News, I hit her on the head in self-defense because of the way she looked.
Let me rewind it a little bit so we can get the context here.
May have something to do with this pattern of racial violence. Barry Baldwin stands accused of 6 knockout games in New York in November and December. 5 of the victims were Jewish women. One was 78 years old. Baldwin, a 35-year-old black man, offered a series of excuses for the violence. Told the New York Daily News, I hit her on the head in self-defense because of the way she looked.
What the fuck does that mean? Because of the way she looked, he hit her? A 78-year-old woman? Grandmother? Dude, animals, dude. Come on, man. Fucking animals.
Baldwin, a 35-year-old black man, offered a series of excuses for the violence. Told the New York Daily News, I hit her on the head in self-defense because of the way she looked. This should gladden the heart of Casey Seiler, an Albany reporter who dismissed racial violence documented in White Girl Bleed a Lot by saying, a riot has no color, unquote. But then
he's kind of talking about how the news media downplays how frequently it happens and how insane it is to actually think about. There are people, predators, domestic terrorists called the black culture in America, walking around assaulting and killing random innocent people going on about their day, threatening them. Just video after video after video after testimony after testimony after court case after court case after court case. And the black culture never tries to fix it. They blame other people. So it's really fucking sick, dude.
He objected that...
Okay, so let me jump to, Joe Dieters jumped in Cincinnati.
4 days after scattered reports of black mob violence during the Memorial Day Taste of Cincinnati, local media and the police figured out just how violent their annual holiday event was. It was general mayhem, said one police captain. Why don't we listen to a report from a local CBS affiliate?
Local 12 News. Before I knew it, it was too late. I was on the ground, getting stomped on. They kicked me, punched me.
And he wasn't the only one attacked on Sunday night by groups of teenagers who moved through downtown after the Taste of Cincinnati. Good evening, everyone. Thousands of people were in town for the Taste and the Red Series with the Cardinals, and by most accounts, it was a successful weekend for the city of Cincinnati.
There are also stories of random violence. People jumped, punched, and kicked by groups of teenagers. One victim says the thugs seemed to enjoy hurting them. Local 12's Deborah Dixon is at the scene of one of the assaults. With the video you'll see only here on Local 12. Deb?
Rob, I'm at Door Alley and 9th Street, and this is where on Sunday night a young man was trying to help his sister pull her car out of this private lot. Eyewitnesses say that's all Jonathan Dieters was doing when he was attacked. Jonathan Dieters, the son of Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters. Sort of see John Dieters trying to get up. He was punched, fell to the cement, then he was kicked, and now has a concussion. His girlfriend who tried to intervene was also punched out. And there were other victims that Sunday night.
They just ran straight at me. They didn't really say anything. Just ran straight at me and attacked me.
David Mans was catching a bus near the courthouse to get to his night shift at Dunkin' Donuts. He says about 20 girls and boys, all teenagers, were in on the punching, kicking, and stomping. He has bruises, scrapes, and broken ribs.
I got on the ground and pretty much just covered up, so they didn't get my face too bad, and a little bit up here. But the broken ribs was the worst of it. They got me breathing on a little machine to keep me from getting pneumonia. It was almost as if it was fun to them.
Did you hear that? It was almost as if it was fun to them. There's video of this, dude. But I must be racist because I'm pointing it out, right? You fucking... Oh, anything to fucking avoid admitting that their culture blows. Anything to avoid admitting it. Including not even hopping in voice chat and answering questions. I'm so wrong, right? I'm so racist, right? Well, then come at me, cocksucker. Let's see what you got to say about the overwhelming evidence of your culture being absolute garbage. It sucks, dude. You walk around outside and you think everything's cool. Boom, you get attacked by a fucking group of these animals, dude. You can use lethal force, and I encourage everybody to get a handgun, carry it legally, and use lethal force if this happens to you. You're damn right I will. I'm not going to let somebody fucking assault me. Not going to fucking happen, dude. I'm going to use lethal force. All right? So don't put your hands on people, black culture. Don't resist arrest. Don't fight police. Stop being cocksuckers. Integrate into society. Stop speaking Ebonics. Try speaking English. Stop trying to fracture the English language, you cocksuckers. Keep it up.
They was like it was a game. Like they found enjoyment out of it.
There were other victims that night. How about this? A member of a gay country western dance group reported that members of his club were also victims of racial violence. This is what he posted on a local news site. Quote, 3 of our CRW friends were also attacked and assaulted on Sunday, May 25th at 10 p.m., said Tim of the Cincinnati Rivertown Wranglers.
Are there any redeeming qualities of this culture? As I said before, it's rotten to the core. And the only way it's going to get better is if they actually fucking give a shit about being better people. But they don't. It's a decision to be shitheads. Every city they live in, by majority, is horse shit. It's a shithole. So, again, they're still, right now, as of like the last 10 minutes, they're still commenting on my channel, but they're not getting in voice chat. Fine, I guess I'm going to expose them then. I'm going to keep exposing them then.
Were jumped and thrown out into the street at Central Parkway and Walnut. The violence against them was also unprovoked and seemed to be racially motivated, as the black teenagers were selecting only white victims as people passed by. The black mob violence in the knockout game was just getting started then. Before it was over, there would be shootings, robbings, numerous assaults, and even teens throwing rocks. Police. Curiously, the station that first reported the racial violence didn't want much to do with the story. Here's how the anchor introduced their account. By most accounts, it was a successful weekend for the city of Cincinnati, she said. Other than that, how did you like the play, Mrs. Lincoln? We could linger on Cincinnati with lots more details of racial violence over the Memorial Day weekend, but we have a lot more to cover. But before we do, let's just say this. The most difficult part of reporting racial violence in Cincinnati, or any other place really, is looking into the camera and trying to pretend this is not a regular feature of life there.
Yep.
Because it is. Next stop is Chicago.
You know, I never said that I love the media or anything. But they are, at least on television, they're very afraid to report shit like this. And if they do report it, a lot of times they fucking skew the shit out of it and really do back black people up as if they're the victims, dude. As if there's a good reason to assault random elderly people, man. I got so much video of this shit. They just sneak up on you and attack you. It's not fake. It's not made up video. It's not exaggerated. It's not a few cases here and there. It's everywhere. And we got video of them laughing about it, dude. There's tons of video and audio of them laughing at nearly killing somebody with a boulder across the fucking head. They think it's funny, dude. And if they're too loud outside having a party, that's fine. You can have parties. But if they're being really obnoxious and really loud in quiet areas, and so you go up there and you say, hey guys, can you kind of turn it down a little bit? They get nuts and want to kill you. I have video of that too, man. So what do you think? Why do you think we're getting fed up with these uncivilized animals, man? It's not racism. We're sick of you acting like animals because you cannot respect civilization. Okay? We have unspoken rules in society here, dude. We respect each other generally. We hold the door open for each other. I'm not saying every black person does this, but out of all the fucking cultures in America, you guys are by far the worst. You just fucking defy every goddamn rule we have because that's how much you hate white people. You cannot stand acting civil.
There was almost nothing in the local press about it, but the popular police blog, Second City Cop, reported black mob violence all over the city's upscale downtown over that same weekend. Let's look at some of the quotes from some of the readers, many readers of Second City Cop, many of whom are cops themselves. Quote, they also listened to scanners. Quote, if anyone listened to Zone 4 last night, they would have heard that the boyfriend of a young couple was hospitalized after getting the shit beat out of him at Van Buren and Strait by a couple of urban youths, reported the blog. The multiple car and store windows on North Michigan Avenue. That multiple car and store windows on North Michigan Avenue were smashed by urban youths. That there was a massive fight between urban youths on the Red Line platform at State and Lake that shut down the line. That there were multiple thefts of purses, laptops, phones by groups of urban youths celebrating the holiday, unquote. If you hear a little sarcasm dripping off of this page, well, that's what it is. And for you out-of-towners, Michigan Avenue is the site of the so-called Gold Coast, the uber upscale shopping district that is the site of regular and frequent and violent and destructive black mob violence, including the knockout game. Almost never reported, almost always dismissed. Other cops chimed in with more examples of holiday mayhem. Quote, coppers are pissed there was no reporting in the local press, said one Chicago police officer via email. The reader of White Girl Bleed a Lot. Quote, you ask coppers on the Gold Coast. They see black mobs roaming downtown Michigan Avenue without money. No real reason to be there but to strictly rob, beat, and hurt random white people. Unquote. Steve Chapman is an editor at the Chicago Tribune. Tribune has a long-time policy of not reporting any of this racial violence, not connecting any of the dots.
No shit.
And their readers just hammer them when it happens. Every once in a while, they send one of their editors out to the public square to kind of offer an explanation, or in this case, an accusation. And Steve Chapman, he does not like it. People at Second City Cop complain his paper embargoes news about racial violence. This is from the Tribune. Quote, why do you care so much about the attacker's race, he wrote. Quote, if you fear or dislike blacks, I suppose it would confirm your prejudice.
See?
But otherwise, it tells you nothing useful.
See? Try to call you prejudiced and racist because you point out the patterns in a culture.
Now you know. The problem with black mob violence and the problem with newspapers ignoring it, condoning it, denying it, encouraging it, excusing it, that is not their problem. That is your problem.
See? Yeah, don't turn it around on us. Fucking scum. All right, where are they? Nope, they got no defense for their behavior. Crickets riding tumbleweeds as usual. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Dumbasses. All right, so I'm going to jump to where I actually was in this book.
I was looking at my files the other day, my collection of files on the knockout game, and I was astonished how many there were. Way more than I thought there were. There were even categories I had forgotten I'd had. I'd forgotten all the knockout games that have been played on handicapped people.
Yeah, that's a real thing, by the way. Go on, tell me how great their culture is as they're assaulting random handicapped elderly people outside and laughing about it, dude. Tell me how great their culture is.
Autistic people, mentally retarded people, all on video. And so I thought, there's still so much denial. Why don't we make a video of it? Why don't we send the video around? And when you're done looking at the video, and when you're done reading the ebook that goes along with the video, people can try to explain it, condone it, even ignore it, but you can't deny it anymore. So when I was looking at my videos and the ebook, I realized that this is the largest collection of knockout stories, knockout links, and knockout videos anywhere. So I made this video as kind of a collection of them, and I hope you find it interesting. It wasn't until last year when the latest edition of White Girl Bleed a Lot came out that it finally started to catch on in some really great places, like Breitbart. They said I was ahead of the news. And what about over at the Daily Caller? They said the same thing. I've been writing about this almost like Breitbart. They said I was ahead of the news. And what about over at the Daily Caller? They said the same thing. I've been writing about this almost by myself for a while. Alan West got in the thing, and he said, hey, at least I was talking about racial violence, even if nobody else was. And I talked about it on the Sean Hannity show. He said it, and look at Tom Sowell talked about it, Hannity, the LA Times, Daily Caller, Alex Jones, Neil Bortz, Bill Cunningham show, again, Breitbart, Alan West. This is all off my website, of course. Who else has some good things to say about it? Of course, David Horowitz, WND, Jack Cashill, NPR, Slate, Milt Rosenberg. But White Girl Bleed a Lot was about two things, right? It was about the racial violence. But the real interesting part, the crazy part, were the denials coming in from all over the country. People that just thought they could ignore the witnesses, ignore the videos, ignore the police reports, and they were everywhere for the knockout game. I mean, why don't we start up in at the Daily News in Philadelphia? I'm not going to get into a debate about this judge-fueled hysteria. Huffington Post, fabricated trend.
Yeah.
How about the Chicago Tribune and its star columnist Clarence Page? The knockout game is wildly exaggerated. CNN. Is this fiction? Jon Stewart. Oh, ha ha ha. It's a game. The Griot said the knockout game hurts black people.
Yeah.
And
God, self-absorbed fucking cocksucker.
The knockout game is just another reason.
You know, never mind.
To profile black.
I want to interview black people. Where are they? You're one click away from being interviewed, and you can't do it because you're ashamed, aren't you? Or are you? Do you have any shame? Your shit fucking culture? You animals?
Men. Billy, they were leading the way with denial early on. The New York Times, of course, is the king of all media. They called it an urban myth. The LA Times, mentioning yours truly as the pack ringleader of this movement to fictionalize.
Actually, the guy who's talking right now, the author of this book, Knockout Game a Lie, he's pretty tame, dude. He's not even getting emotional about this. I am. You know? He's pretty fucking neutral about this shit. It boils my blood, dude. I'd hate to see this happen to anybody, just randomly getting assaulted and shot at.
Is this violence? You know, it's funny. A couple of years ago, I did a story that got a black man out of state prison who was convicted of trying to kill his white girlfriend. Well, I was a hero to the LA Times, NPR, Court TV, all these liberal outlets around the country. Colin, the big hero for getting this black man out of prison. Well, that's changed a little bit, but it's fun to think back about it, what they said at the time. The columnist at the San Diego Union Tribune said, it is abundantly clear that Kelvin Wildley, will still be locked up were it not for the efforts of an investigative reporter acting on his own, Colin Flaherty. Let's get back to the denials. We've got great denials. Places like Slate. Wow, I was a victim of the fake knockout game. Here's a good one from the Village Voice. Total denial. You know, it's interesting. So the Village Voice says this is all bogus, right? What happens near the Village Voice offices just a couple of weeks later? We have this gentleman we see on tape, black gentleman, standing up straight.
Oh, by the way, speaking of random assaults by black people, it happened to, what the hell's his name? From Little Shop of Horrors and Ghostbusters. You know what I'm talking about, right? Rick Moranis. It happened to him, too. He was sucker punched by a black guy in New York, dude. Walking down the street, Rick Moranis, the nice fucking guy, everybody likes him in movies, minding his business, walking down New York, he gets sucker punched by a black person. Black. Yeah. They're fucking shit people, dude. Around blacks, never relax.
Waiting for a 72-year-old cancer patient to come cruising down the street, at which point his friends across the street taping him. Bam! Knocked him in the face.
Scum.
Here's the thing. So here's why the Village Voice and other places say this knockout game is a myth, say that racial violence doesn't exist. You're looking at now at 20, 25 black people on bicycles. They're about ready to ride out and beat the crap out of a doctor in Harlem. They're not carrying signs that say down with Whitey. They're not carrying signs that say, let's beat up all the hunkies. They're not sprinkling racial epithets. And so by the reasoning of all the reporters around the country, they say, well, Colin, this is not a racial crime. Yeah, they actually say that. Remember that guy down in Norfolk, Virginia? That's what he said. Jesse Waters tracked him down for Bill O'Reilly. His words will live in infamy.
This story has been blown out of proportion, and that's not to diminish the fact that I had two reporters who got beaten.
What?
But what it amounts
What? That's already contradictory out of the fucking gate.
to is
Two, that's quite a bit in one small area.
a street altercation, not a mob attack. No evidence that it was.
Altercation. Yeah, what? Hey, can you not park in the handicap? Oh, what you want, white boy? Is that how it goes, by altercation? You try to fucking civilize these cocksuckers and say, could you not do shit things like park in handicapped spots without a placard? And you get fucking threatened and assaulted by these guys? That's an altercation? We do that with everybody. Hey, can you not fucking be a cocksucker in society? That goes for everybody, not just black people, everybody.
Was a racial attack.
But only black people are the ones that get fucking nuts about it. They can't oh, wow, how dare you tell me what to do, Whitey?
Evidence at all. But here's the point. The troll, in this case, the editor of the Virginian Pilot, he would be right if this were an isolated case, but it's not. And there's so many of these, and they're so wildly out of proportion, black on non-black, that means there's something going on.
Yeah.
NPR said it was no big deal. One of its own producers found out it was real, the hard way. Check out this letter from an NPR producer. Folks, as a program director at NPR station, I don't usually get involved in discussions like this, but I have a personal experience with this so-called game. I guess I should talk like them. Here's how they talk. He said Hingusberger at an NPR blog. I'll talk like him. It was this past May, 2013, just a block from the Hilton Garden Inn on 1st Street Northeast. While I was taking a brief walk around the area within sight of the hotel and with plenty of other people on the sidewalk, ... a teenager walked up to me, smacked me on the side of the head. I can't talk like this. And thankfully, she was not strong enough to knock out this 60-plus-year-old. So all I did was spin around, only to see him take off running to the other side of the streets to join his two companions, who were laughing as if it was the most hilarious thing they had ever seen. What else did he say? Hinsbergen said, is there a racial component? I choose to believe not, but sadly, this was an African-American teenager attacking an older white man. Bam! There's so much video out there on the Knockout Game from all over the country, all shapes and sizes. So, is this an example of the Knockout Game? You tell me.
You can see two young men violently throw a 65-year-old man to the ground. Watches the man in the blue shirt immediately start stomping him, then joins his partner there in the green shirt going through the victim's pockets. The elderly man is apparently still resisting, so the guy in blue stomps him again with all his force. 1, 2, 3 times before losing his balance. Not satisfied, he kicks him again, followed by a punch. Still not done, the man in green delivers a vicious swat and a jumping kick.
He's not resisting, he's out. They're beating him because they're having fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to play one of the videos. This is one of the many that I have. One of the many videos that I have. This is not too long ago. This is actually, I saved this in 2024, but I'm not sure when this happened. Let me get this video on screen here. This is recorded of a black guy sneaking up on a white guy minding his business. Wait, let me turn it up a little bit more. And there's people recording it. Hi, how is that funny, dude? Answer right now, you shit fucking culture. How is that fucking funny? Hi. No, you're racist, Nerve. You're racist. How dare you disparage our great black culture, you cocksuckers. You're fucking animals.
Limp and unconscious. Now a third man with dreadlocks walks over and pulls the other two men off the man. All three then took off in a black new model.
Hey, what about this? Some of the, sometimes the conservative guys. I was skeptical about the Knockout Game. I've seen too many Rainbow Bracelet and other reality disconnected hysteria over the years. Slate comes in and calls it a knockout, said it's a myth. Who else? There's Stewart again. He was all over this for a long time. USA Today. Knockout Game is a myth. They said it's a product of white fear. Here in Detroit, an urban myth. Racial violence is an urban myth in Detroit. Hip Hop Magazine. Oh, this Knockout Game is nothing but white hysteria. Yeah. Here we go with Ebony Magazine, the myth making of the Knockout Game. Okay. Well, okay, we've heard all the denials, right? All the denials. Ebony, Slate, here, there. Why don't we meet the knockers? Why don't we take a magical mystery tour, almost at random, around the country, and just look at some videos, and we'll talk about it as we go. Well, I don't even know where we're going to start. Let's just see where we're going to start, and we're going to end up in a really interesting place.
It's downright despicable. Upper Darby police say this young man clearly...
So, obviously, I'm playing an audiobook. I can't see the video he's playing. Maybe I'll have to find it somewhere. But you hear an assault, and then you hear laughter. I've never heard this part of this audiobook yet. This is new for me, so my blood's pretty fucking boiling right now.
See where we're going to start, and we're going to end up in a really interesting place.
It's downright despicable. Upper Darby police say this young man clearly seen on smartphone video was being egged on by his friends before violently punching a 58-year-old man in the head.
The video is hard to watch.
Down to Florida.
52-year-old Fort Myers man kicked from behind by a Cypress Lake girls basketball player as he's working in his garden, all as her teammates recorded. 2 days later, victim Bob Lerberg still can't believe it happened. 15-year-old Trevicia Blanks admits to doing it. In court this morning, the judge decided she needs to spend the next 21 days in a juvenile detention center. And Lerberg wasn't the only victim. Deputies say she knocked on this 89-year-old man's door and lured him outside.
I stepped out to see what it is she was pointing to, and there was another girl standing here, and wham!
I'm going to show you another video, actually. I'm going to show you another video. This is also disturbing. So if you're easily disturbed, you should probably turn it off right now. It's not gory, it's not bloody, but it's fucking egregious. And again, it's one of the many videos I have on this black culture. I'm supposedly a racist because I point this out and I see the fucking patterns of this shit culture. So this is a pregnant woman working at this store behind the counter there. She's pregnant.
It's warm out there, huh? Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? Okay.
Ma'am.
Looks like it's gonna storm. How can I help you?
Open the rest.
Okay, hold on.
Did you see that, dude? Animals. Come on, tell me I'm fucking wrong, dude. Fucking animals. Why do you think I put the picture in my thumbnail? Around blacks, never relax. How can I help you? She's really nice. Yeah, great fucking culture, dude. And they're probably laughing about it. It's funny to them to assault people like this, dude. A pregnant fucking woman. They're fucking violent cocksuckers. I will shoot. And I will defend myself. I will fucking kill these people if they try to assault me like this, dude. They do it all the fucking time.
Cindy and Andrew.
I highly recommend everybody buy a fucking gun and defend yourself from these fucking domestic terrorists.
Prosecutors say this is a prank where the kids apparently target
Prank?
people. The suspects in this case, just 13 and 14.
Hoboken, New Jersey. Yeah, they killed him.
Behind me, the exact spot where this attack happened.
Yo, bro, uppercut this nigga. Uppercut him.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, knockout on two. Knockout on two. Knockout on two.
The fuck is with them?
Knockout on two. Knockout on two. Knockout on two.
I'm not repeating this, by the way.
Let's take a second to talk about the knockout game. And, it's central, a couple of central organizing features. When people talk about the knockout game, they always focus on the knockout, right? It's like, that's the goal, knockout. No, the goal is to have fun. That's why I don't mind calling it a game, because that is there are two central organizing features of the game. One, people are having fun. That's why the laughter's there. So just because somebody goes through somebody's pockets and does a little robbery, that is like secondary, tertiary. It's not really that important. Remember how we used to talk about rape as being a sexual crime? And, 20 some years ago, people, maybe more than that, people figured out it wasn't really about sex, but it was about violence, domination. And that's what it was really about. Well, we have to start thinking about this kind of violence in the same way. It's not about robbery. And it's not about, putting bread on the table like something out of Les Mis. This is their preferred lifestyle, as psychologist Marla Newburn likes to put it.
Yeah, they choose to behave this way. They choose it, dude. It's not because their skin is black. It's because their culture is rotten to the core. There's all sorts of problems in their culture. And one of them, of course, is they can't talk to anybody. I've been trying to talk to them for I don't know how many years now. The few that I got in voice chat, a couple of them were okay, but I had another one threaten my life. And, the very first time I ever went, I remember I was pretty young. I went to a black kid's house that I met at school. And long story short, I had a gun pointed at me. The very first fucking day I go to a black kid's house when I was younger, I go there to play video games. We were going to play, what fucking game is that? It's not Final Fight. It wasn't Street Fighter for the Genesis. It was, I think it started with an F. It was a Super Nintendo game. No, it wasn't Fatal Fury. Rival Turf. That's it. I remember the name. Rival Turf. We went there to play Rival Turf on the Super Nintendo. And this kid who wasn't there originally came out of nowhere and pointed a chrome handgun at me and the other people that was in the room with me. And me being a dumb, ignorant kid, I didn't even think it was real because it was chrome. I looked at it and said, that's not real. And he pointed at me and said, you want to see if it's real? My first interaction with a fucking black person, I get a gun pointed at me. What the fuck? Is this fun for them? And I'm thinking, I came over here to play video games. Why do I have a fucking gun pointed at me? Nope, I never went to his house again. What the fuck is that shit, dude? Immediately, uncivilized pavement apes.
This is how they have fun. That's why it's a game. So the two central organizing features. One, this is what they like to do.
Yeah,
Two,
it is.
Overwhelming majority of people playing this game are black. So it's not random.
And now Lansing. A man waiting at a bus stop for his 6-year-old daughter to be dropped off from school had no idea that he would be the city's first reported victim. He was attacked, but not by a punch, by a faulty taser, and was able to protect himself with his own legal concealed carry .40 caliber pistol. 17-year-old Marvell Weaver.
What's up, Marvell?
Good job, dude. Good. You have a legal right to defend yourself, dude. You can take their life. I don't want to take a life. But I will defend myself, dude, and my family. I will fucking defend. You're not going to come up to my car and try to get in and try to punch my window. You're going to get shot through the window.
Punch by a faulty taser and was able to protect himself with his own legal concealed carry .40 caliber pistol. 17-year-old Marvell Weaver.
What's up, Marvell?
Twice. He's been sentenced to a year in jail for the
They left out the part where Marvell was crying and begging for mercy, which he was.
But Weaver says this wasn't the first time he played it. Before he was caught, he and his friends had attacked random people on several occasions.
Not many, I say overall, like 6 or 7. I mean, you don't try to rob them or anything.
It's fun.
It's the game.
According to Weaver, it's not gang-related. Teens are playing it because they're bored, and they've been seeing others doing it and getting away with it on the internet.
Yep, yeah. Oh, they're so awesome, man. They're awesome. Like, every opinion they fucking have is wrong, too. The whole George Floyd thing. George Floyd died of an overdose, you dumbasses. He wasn't killed by police, he died of an overdose. It's called science. There's this thing called science, and these black people think that they know more than science. What a fucking bunch of retards, dude.
He says he used to play it because he was usually dared.
Dude, I would never assault random people like that, dude. It's not fun. Get a hobby, you fucking losers, dude.
High and with a bad group of friends.
If somebody just throws out there like, okay, you want to play this, and people go along with it, and one thing leads to another, and it just goes all downhill.
Texas? Yeah, Texas. Happens there, too. What about Jersey? One guy did 3 in just a couple minutes. Syracuse. Oh, they've got some nasty racial violence in Syracuse.
I gotta turn this up a little bit.
Check this out. Casually walking down the sidewalk at school until a staff member blindsided by a student, knocked to the head and knocked to the ground.
Society is a little bit more desensitized to.
The video shows the manager and the man in a baggy gray sweatshirt speak only for a matter of seconds before the man throws a single right hook. A camera outside of
this is all this year, people.
Ann and Darren, it's a twisted game harming innocent people. A West Hartford man says he was a victim of this vicious attack.
I can't believe society discourages us from pointing this shit out, dude, and noticing the patterns. There's something wrong with their culture, man. And pointing it out doesn't make you racist. It makes you fucking sick with violent criminal behavior and finding it so funny, dude. It's sick. There's mental retardation, being intellectually stunted. I don't know what the fuck it is. Maybe it's the lack of having a father kicking their ass and straighten them out. Maybe there's some good black moms out there straightening their kids out, but it seems really fucking rare.
This West Hartford man may be the latest victim of the
Lots of black on Asian violence. In San Francisco, they call it the dirty little secret.
Clocking them in the face in an attempt to knock them out in a single
Oh, you didn't know that?
and running off.
Only a single blow, and they fled after that.
That means you didn't read White Girl Bleed a lot.
Yale was
Oh, so am I making that up? Black people? Am I racist and making that up that it doesn't fucking happen? You think it's fucking normal? You want to condone this shit? I want you to do it in voice chat and condone this fucking behavior, dude. Speaking of Asian, tons of fucking videos about that. Here's another one. Elderly Asian going to the, I think it's an ATM or something like that. Older Asian woman. Around blacks, never relax. There's one right there. Watch out. Look at this. Why did he do that? What's wrong with them, dude? What's fucking wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Hi. Yeah, I'm racist, dude. What are you fucking doing? You need to be shot and killed right there, dude. He needs to be shot and killed right now. I'm so fucking sick of these people, dude. I'm so fucking sick of them.
walking to catch a bus on Church Street in
That should boil your fucking blood if you're any kind of a human. You should understand that that is accepted in their culture. And they think it's funny, dude. It's accepted. They protect each other. If a black dude knows who that guy is who punched that elderly Asian woman, he won't tell police who it is. They protect each other, dude. They're fucking corrupt faggots.
New Haven when he was violently attacked, one of several similar attacks in the area, first reported by the New Haven Independent.
New Orleans. Wow. So much racial violence in New Orleans. So many artists, so many gay people, so many tourists, so many people in the gentrification crowd. How about, here's a story. Christopher Brumfelt said he was brutally assaulted on Saturday evening in the St. Roch neighborhood of a dozen teenagers, one of whom he recognized from his time teaching art at the youth's school. Here's a picture of one of the victims, beat up pretty good. Another victim, same area, same result. Oh, there's some of the gentlemen who performed the knockout game. Yep, that doesn't look good. He doesn't look too happy.
Right now, could that knockout game be making a resurgence here in Connecticut? And could it now involve teenage girls? Police in New Britain are investigating at least 3 cases of unprovoked random attacks similar to the knockout game. It's been a big problem throughout the country.
All right, let's head down to Crown Heights in Brooklyn. Lots of black on Jewish crime. Here's one of dozens. Bam. Well, to his credit, at least he ran after her. Here's a story I wrote about a guy who read a story, and his son was a victim of the knockout game.
Police say he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Investigators are looking for 4
This wasn't the knockout game. Maybe it was. It was racial violence. He died. Here we go. We got a knockout game guy. He attacked 6, 7, who knows how many. He said it was self-defense. Let's continue this in the next chapter. Chapter 11. Let's continue with the audio portion of the knockout game video. This is from the Daily Caller.
Ferguson McDonald's when a witness says he was sucker punched, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported. A news cameraman with Kansas City's KMBC was also attacked in a separate incident, according to the Post-Dispatch. The station's reporter Eli Rosenberg sent a tweet saying that a man walked up to the cameraman and punched him multiple times in the face.
Now to the story of a bicyclist attacked while riding his bike and the online campaign to help him out. Andy Sweeney posted this photo of his broken teeth after he says 3 teenagers threw a traffic cone at him.
This is a member of Congress, an Oriental member of Congress. This guy's not. They both got the same treatment. Punch in the face. How about back to New Jersey? 1 guy, 3 assaults.
He goes on to tell me that
down to Washington, D.C.
game on television news. So he never imagined that he would be talking with a television news reporter tonight as a victim.
Random in Syracuse? I don't think so. Back to you're going to see a lot of stuff from the Bronx. They're not the same one.
Doesn't care what you call this crime.
I care.
What's important to her.
Care because you're not telling the truth about it.
As we passed, he reached out and punched me in the face and said "Wapow" as he hit
as
me
in
the face.
Wapow.
The whole group of kids laughed.
Why were they laughing? Oh yeah, this always happens. People always say they were victims too. How about Columbia Heights? Another knockout game. Pizza Man delivery game. Pizza Man. Back to Brooklyn. Dad and son injured in a knockout game.
Doreen, recently this trail has had
Washington,
a number of
D.C.
robberies and assaults on it. And last night, it was 10 against 1. Last summer, there were a slew of attacks and robberies on the same trail.
Let me see. This is a new one. Just came out today, really. Woman on the bus. Police describe the suspect as black, male, possibly 18 years old, 5'5", 160 pounds. Yeah, I guess that makes him, what, a welterweight? Anyway, he had a hood pulled over his hat to hide his face. Another Jewish guy gets beat up in New York. I'm detecting a pattern. Wasn't random.
Thank you for joining us. The mayor found 52-year-old Matt Quinn unconscious and bloody last October. He was a victim of the so-called knockout game.
After a key witness didn't show up for court last week, the case was dismissed.
Not everybody denies it, but almost all misreport it.
Yeah, well, Vicky and Larry, for Matt Quinn, it's a never-ending nightmare 3 days after the accused teens are set free, and Matt
The story has a happy ending.
approached him in a Schnucks parking lot. It's an incident that has Mayor Francis Slade disgusted. Mayor Francis Slade can't believe just days after the 7 teens are freed, 2 of them are threatening the man he nearly found dead.
So whatever happened to one of those guys? Whoa! He tried to break into somebody's house. He got killed less than a year later. Guy playing the knockout game. One guy in St. Louis said he played it 300 times. 300. Back in Philly, they're getting a little reality. Hey, let's head over to the Walmart. Back to New Orleans. This is the headline from DC. Another Philly headline.
I think he's playing video, but I think the audiobook is edited where it's not playing the audio or something. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not seeing anything because it's an audiobook.
Another Brooklyn headline, different story. Different guy.
Meet me at MySpace.
Back to Syracuse. Man, lots of stuff going on in upstate New York. Back in Brooklyn. This is a variation, they tell us. Who could hit harder? Let's find out. What happened here? Severe brain damage. In this case, that's okay.
Wife and I kill all the white people in the movie.
God, that guy's funny.
How great is that?
There's a riot.
Watch this woman walking down the street. A stranger runs up.
This is in London.
A sucker punch so brutal, the victim lays on the sidewalk, unable to move. In New Jersey, it appears these guys filmed their own attack.
Oh, damn!
The suspects laughing and bragging about it.
Quitter!
Funny, huh?
I wrote a story about this one. A left winger, is a victim of a knockout game.
According to the police report, a man
He's not lefty anymore.
spotted 3 men walking in their direction. Then they realized they were being followed. The police report says the woman grabbed a can of mace from her purse. That's when
Pink mace?
her boyfriend got punched on the right side of his face, causing him to stumble to the ground. The woman tried to spray the men with her mace, but it didn't work. The men then jumped into a car driven by a woman and sped away. I spoke on the phone with Michael Caraway. He was attacked a few months.
Do you hear that? The black women are driving these people to go do that. They're just as fucking nuts. They're not any better, dude. They think it's funny too. It's fun for them.
Months ago, as he tried to pump gas on Merrill Road.
Sal Avila says the guys who attacked him never asked for money.
Okay, this is New York City.
Wallet either. In fact, they didn't say
Anybody want to defend this culture? I'm in voice chat.
a word to him. He says he just passed them on the sidewalk when they punched him in the face without warning.
This wasn't an act to get anything from me. This was simply to do damage and instill fear.
That's how they have fun.
1 a.m. Sunday morning, and he was on his way to get a city bike after leaving a friend's house. He saw 3 young men walking towards him on the sidewalk at Washington Square Park.
Just as they're about to actually walk past me, one of them moves very suddenly, and I feel a very hard impact.
Washington, this is a part of town near Harlem.
But he was able to run for help. Bystanders scared off the attackers and helped identify them to police. Officers quickly arrested one of the 3 suspects, a 16-year-old male. Sal was left with a fractured nose and needed surgery, but Sal says his attackers never tried to steal anything from him. He thinks this was a knockout game attack.
Gee, is there a pattern we're seeing yet or no?
Their only goal was to hurt him.
Watch wasn't taken, my phone.
I could see this dude doesn't work at the Village Voice.
There's no attempt from my pockets that I could see.
There's debate over whether the knockout game...
Only among reporters, clown.
Says what happened to him is all too real, and that's why he wants to share his story.
Said down to New Orleans. No debate there. About back to Connecticut. No debate there. An old woman.
This is a photo of 20-year-old Colin Kozik taken just after he was struck on March 2nd. He was hit hard enough to eventually lose 2 teeth. The strength of the impact forced his bottom teeth through his lip, requiring surgery. Prosecutors say 20-year-old Michael Beasley Hart, a UW Whitewater student, threw what's described as a full knockout punch in court documents.
First at 10 tonight, neighbors in St. Roch are on the edge after reports of a brutal attack by a bunch of school-aged kids. It happened on St. Roch.
Got a description on those kids?
Residents in the area who say this is not
I do.
the first report of an attack in recent days.
Local artist and art teacher Chris Broomfield recounted the attack on his...
Even the victims are afraid to say their assailants are black.
Yeah, they're fucking afraid.
Them boys attacked me with clubs and tried to kill me.
It's been more than a month since Jenny Guevara's husband was killed, and the pain is still as raw as it was the day he died.
But I kept on calling his name so he could wake up.
59-year-old Ildefonso Romero Jr. was killed after a 17-year-old allegedly sucker punched him outside his home on Theriot Avenue.
Another pizza man. Down in New Orleans.
Boils my fucking blood,
Another
dude.
game in Columbia Heights in D.C. Another Walmart. District Police investigating random attacks similar to the knockout game. This guy, he played the knockout game. Me and my friends were hanging out. They asked me if I had done one. I said, I don't know how to play. So they explained it to me. A 15-year-old charter school student said that in Grand Theft Auto, you just run up to people, you hit them, and they'll fall. It was kind of funny, like the game, to do it. It was kind of fun to do it in real life.
Well, a Mount Vernon man claims that he and his brother were
This is Baltimore.
knockout game last week. And tonight, police tell us they have made an arrest. And it turns out the suspect was already wanted for more than
There were 25 people involved in this.
He would never hurt anybody. So for them to,
Huge pizza.
attack him, it was just, I can't.
Black on handicap crime. I've got a whole file full of that.
Saw coming Friday. His mother says he was walking home from the library. He passed a group of teens who went to a nearby junior high school.
All of a sudden, the boy in the maroon shirt came up behind him, punched him from behind in his face.
Head down to Baton Rouge. They wanted to see who could hit harder. Here's where knockout game, where they kicked him in the face, killed him, knocked the eye out of his socket.
To tell police about.
Yeah, she kept her eye, too.
7-year-old says just after 10 Thursday night, she was walking home along a busy strip of 14th Street in Columbia Heights. A group of teens on bicycles came up behind her. One punched her in the back of her head hard, and the group rode off laughing.
He has a knot on the
Yeah,
side
it's
of
so
his
funny,
head
dude.
from what appears to be another round of the knockout game.
It's so funny, dude. So funny. How many examples do we goddamn need, dude? It's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming.
31-year-old Thomas Florence went to Walgreens on Merrill Road to pick up diapers and medicine. On the way out, he stopped at Redbox. Thomas Florence says he was looking at what movies to rent, just kind of fixated.
Okay, check out this reenactment. You ready?
Somebody out of the corner of his eye, and the next thing he knew, that person punched him right in the
Bam! Emmy time, people.
The incident mirrors a recent similar one at the Hess gas station.
Oh, this happened before?
Also involving 4 teens and a white puppy. One of the teens punched a disabled man one time, and they ran away.
Home, could a terrifying trend be spreading? We've shown you
Boom.
videos just like these over the past
Hit
few
and run.
days, random sneak attacks. assaults on victims who never saw it coming.
Boom.
Blacked out, dude. That's what it is, blackout.
This unidentified man found himself with a black eye and
damn you! You attacked Mr. Spock
after what he calls a surprise attack in Westchester.
College town.
He says he is yet another victim of a national trend known as the knockout game.
Back to
And Kevin, this is where police
Brooklyn.
say that young man was punched early this morning while he was coming home from work. Right away, he called the police, and right away, they were able to make several arrests. Now, this all happened around 2:45 in the morning on 18th Avenue near East 2nd Street. Police say all four men, ranging in age from 28 to 38, were arrested.
There goes the teenager thing.
Joe Piken and Councilman David Greenfield, who represent the area, are linking the assault to the dangerous knockout game. In recent weeks, we've seen these attacks on Jewish people in Crown Heights and Midwood.
These are folks who knew what they were doing. They were standing around. They wanted to find a knockout victim, and they waited, and they found someone.
Preach on, brother. Preach on. So much black on Jewish violence.
The proof is in this video, captured last week. Watch as a man is singled out and sucker punched in the head by a group of passing teens in a cruel game called Knockout. Police record 8 random punching incidents like this one since September.
I think that this is part of this game.
And now this woman strongly believes her mom makes 9.
Okay, here's a scenario.
Emmy time.
Only it's not day, it's night. It's not just me, there are 3. And just as you start to think, what should I do in this situation?
Bam!
It's too late.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And they just
Black on Hispanic.
It's a puzzling crime, but certainly not unprecedented.
On my way out of the pizza shop, I had 4 gentlemen come and just start beating me.
Across the U.S., a strange and scary phenomenon started.
Okay, that's it.